We're going to take a look at how to add a new part from scratch, draw and design a new part, have that grouped together to make it a part, to have it included within a nest. So currently I have two cabinets nested across two sheets. Just going to zoom out a little bit, pan down so we have a little bit of white space to be able to draw out. Going to the draw menu. And before I do that, I want to first select, I'm going to draw out a perimeter cut. So I want to include this new drawn item to be on the cut layer. So going into draw, just going to sketch out a rectangle. And as you're dragging that rectangle around, you can see what size it is. And we could also see down below is asking for the end corner, and you could specify the width and height within that box. So just sketching out a rectangle, we will now see when we select on the cut, it is now included and selected with everything else that is on that feature. Going to add another feature to the inside of this rectangle and going to set it to be on the inside. So again, going to draw and sketch out another rectangle within the inside of this part here. And right now, we don't have anything specified for the depth of cut. There's a couple ways of doing that. One is just when we make this part, it is going to ask us what depth to specify on these layers. And we can see that we have no depth based on selecting the item and seeing the Z value over here at 0. So I'm going to first go in and set the cut depth for this cut layer right here. And we want that to be at a -7.5 to be the same, matching up to the same that everything else is on that layer. So I'm going to select the perimeter cut that we've sketched out, going to draw, going to modify, then move. It's asking us for a base point. So I'm going to specify the base point to be 0, 0, 0. And if you notice, it is in the bottom of the screen that I'm typing this in. And then when I hit enter, it is now moving that part from that location 0, 0, 0. I want to move it down into the Z by 3/4 of an inch. So the new value that I'm going to put in is going to be 0, 0, minus 0.75, then hit enter. We have just now moved this part down into the drawing by a -0.75, which is the thickness of the material. We could do the same thing for the interior component. So going to modify, move, selecting the base point of 0, 0, 0, and I want to move that down to 0, 0, if I only wanted to go 3/8 of an inch deep, specifying -0.375, then enter. When we click here, we can now see that that is down at the -0.375, and we have rounding that happened there. So we are good to make this a part. So currently, this is not a part and still individually drawn vectors. When we select on this part, nothing gets selected, as if when we select on an actual part, everything becomes selected and it gives us a part name. So to make this a part, I'm going to first select everything that I want to have as the part. So selecting those two options, you could give it a part name, then click the button that says Make Part. We now have that as a part, and it is included with the parts just as if any other cabinet part. So selecting here, we can see that's the right side and the size of that part. And again, selecting on the new part that we have drawn is the new part, which was the default name, gives us the size and everything about that. We could now have that part included within the nesting by going to Tools, then Nest. You can see that part is now included in the nesting with the rest of the job, and the tool pathing is done just the same as if it was the part itself. And we could calculate and see what this is going to look like. Basically seeing the center path of the cutter. And we can see that that has been included. Hopefully that helps show how you could design your own part or your own feature within PartNester and make it a part itself.